Today we're talking about the PPP updates. PPP, it is getting such a popular abbreviation. We all know what they are, but there is 6 really important updates we're going to cover today. I know our time is tight. No responsibility disclaimer. I don't need to repeat, right? You know what I mean. And take everything you learn from internet with a grain of salt, right? And know it is the right thing to do. All right, I'm starting the first one. Okay, so yesterday there is a new update for PPP. To me, very significant, and I want you to understand what's going on. And SBA instituted a 14-day period, and starting from tomorrow, Wednesday, 14 days, 2 weeks rolling. And what they're doing is they're only approving the businesses have less than 20 employees. So obviously their application coming in, but the next 14 days, SBA will stop everything else, only work on the small cases. So the reasoning is that 98% of small businesses have fewer than 20 employees. And they are the Main Street small businesses, but they are stuck in with other applications. So, we're not really pay attention to the small one, or they have, documentation issues, and here they're just not going through. So they designated next 14 days to help small business. So if you are a applicant and with less than 20 employees, and you haven't really get approval because your banker keep on telling you that I'm still waiting. No more waiting. You should be getting that answer sooner because of what's going on, okay? So 14 days exclusive application period will allow the lender to focus on serving the smallest business. All right, then the next one, this is the first change. The second change is actually very significant. This is not talked about a lot, but as accountant, we actually really pay attention to. AICPA is the American Institute of Certified Public Accountant. It's an institution that representing all the CPAs in our country, AICPA. On February the 3rd, they wrote a letter to SBA and letting SBA know that their E-Trend and the PPP loan processing system having issue, because the system, SBA system, is generating error messages out to the lender saying that, well, whatever is wrong, we can't process this return. Lender cannot go into E-Trend to really fix. So it is a system issue and holding up a lot of small businesses, because the small ones are the ones tend to have more issues. So the lenders don't have any, they have to wait. So this system issue that was addressed by AICPA. So on February the 3rd, the letter went to SBA. SBA agreed to make changes. So what they do is to address this. So SBA decided to allow lender, listen to me, they allow lender to directly certify the eligibility of the borrower. So the lender has right to certify it. And without SBA certifying it, that means after lender certify you eligible, then you will get funds from SBA. SBA said that we're not going to tackling this right now. We let you certify, and we will look at what's wrong when you apply for forgiveness. So that means you will not be bothered with this not matching whatever the issues, and they will give you the money for now. And later when you file forgiveness, and they will come back and to sort that issue up. So giving you money first. So this is what I call the process change. The process is changing, would not require, SBA would not require lender to submit supporting document of the borrower, and with with the validation errors is the errors that E-Trend and the processing system generated, and so you don't have to do that anymore, and we'll do that when you apply for loan forgiveness. Isn't that great? So this is the second biggest update I give you, and those who stuck in the system, and you should see some change very soon, very soon. Now, here is a big one too. Schedule C, line 7 possible. Okay. On our personal tax return and 1040, the first page, there is a line 7 where you put a W-2 and your W-2 income in there. This line 7 is not the same one. This is in Schedule C. In Schedule C, and after I finish talking about all these big updates, and I'll show you what I mean exactly. And on the Schedule C, there is a line 7. If you have heard me talking about PPP in other webinars, I talk about line 31 all the time, because basically the line 1 is your total sales, and then your line 3 is cost of goods sold, line 7 is gross profit, and line 31 is your profit. It is your leftover. In the past, the PPP is calculated on line 31. So if you have a business, you have sales $100,000, but you actually, after you deduct this and that and your home office and your gasoline and stuff, you become a negative on the bottom, then you don't have PPP. So this particular structure preventing you from getting PPP because you already spent all of your profit, so you don't really have amount to calculate. But in this new change, listen to us. So this one is to help sole proprietors, independent contractors, and the self-employed individual receive more financial support. How do they help? This is the change. They said that these businesses, including home repair contractors, beauticians, small independent retailers, they make up 70% of the small business, and many of them structurally cannot apply PPP. We knew that as a fact, right? We knew, and we have so many clients are in that boat, okay? So to address that issue, SBA will revise the loan calculation for the applicant so that relief will come to you. So what is the proposal on here? In days, this will come to reality. It is to use line 7 to calculate. So that is your total sales minus cost of goods sold. So you have a gross profit before your car deduction, before your home office deduction, before your before your other employee salary, before everything, right? That number, to use that number to calculate PPP. Okay, so I just simply listed as a Schedule C line 7 possible, and it is not yet announced, but it's so looking possible. So want you to know that if you are right now thinking of, oh yeah, I have a little bit of profit, I'm going to apply, I can get $5,000, and because I have a little bit of profit, hold on to that and wait for this. Okay. Wait for this. The next one is what we call the bad records. Okay, so they are, when you apply for PPP, if you remember, you have to certify, I don't have this, I'm a good person, and I didn't have felony charges, all of that stuff, right? So if currently, if you are, if you have arrest or conviction for felony related charges, and or you have felony charges within prior year, you are not qualified to getting PPP. As soon as you check that box, and you are banned from PPP application. So now the SBA is considered to loosen that. So basically, as long as you're not in jail, and if you have a prior felony charges, and they allow you to qualify for PPP, but they didn't take away the number 1. The number 1 is arrest or conviction for felony related to financial assistance fraud within the previous 5 years. They didn't strike that one. They strike the second one on this screen. Okay, so SBA will adopt bipartisan reform, including in the PPP Second Chance Act, and in this particular act, which would eliminate the second restriction. So if you are good now, and you had a record in the past, and then that doesn't, would not affect you. You can still qualify for PPP. If you get rejected because of that, think of resubmitting after this, right? And then next one, delinquent in federal debt. So you don't get PPP if you're delinquent in federal debt. Okay, that's just how it is. Now, SBA is removing particularly the student loan delinquency, because a lot of student loan are federal loan, and if you don't pay and you are delinquent, right, that alone would prevent you from getting PPP, but SBA is removing that. So record with a federal debt delinquency, I think if you knew you were rejected for that, time to reconsider going back. Now, my last one for the update is the ITIN. If you don't even know what ITIN is, obviously it's not related to you. But if you know what ITIN is, you know that for ITIN owners, for example, we have ITIN person owns a corporation. They have employees, everything is just running like everybody else's business. But when they go to apply for PPP, they're not qualified because ITIN was not specifically regarded as a legal status. And so SBA rule wasn't clear. SBA wasn't clear in terms of what means by all lawful US residents may access to this program. So what is a definition of lawful US resident? So SBA plan to clarify that. So SBA will address this inconsistency by issuing clear guidance in the coming days, folks, okay? That will otherwise, this applicant would qualify. So I can think of people who are sole proprietors, okay? And getting a 1099 from construction job and having an ITIN for themselves. So the ITIN number is on my 1099 and I reported on my 1040. And I now, because of this redefinition of legal US residents by SBA rules, and then I can apply to get SBA support to get PPP. So this is a huge one. So this what they're saying is that ensure access for non-citizens, small business owners who are lawful US residents by clarifying that they may use individual taxpayer identification number, ITIN, to apply for relief. So, people may, you may say to me that, okay, Ying, what do you mean by, what do you mean by ITIN holders? So are they the people that coming from another country but without visa? The answer is not so. ITIN is issued for a tax identification number, and I can receive an ITIN if I am a foreign student and I invested in some business made money, and I have a share of income. To report that income here locally in US, I would get ITIN. And the people who are come through other country without visa, but they also made money and wanting to report taxes with ITIN. So ITIN is a tool for people to report income, pay taxes properly here in US. And I think this particular change will open up doors for a lot of people who are running business, doing good businesses, and qualify for PPP. So those are the changes, and I already went through. So let's go back to look at it really quick, okay? So 14 days period, you know what I'm talking about is just next 14 days, and the small business should get answered a lot faster. If you submit it right now, you would see result faster. And the process change, yes, it changed. If you got error messages from SBA's, E-Trend, and the PPP system, the lender has right to make you eligible and deal with that later. So they're not holding on to it, waiting for SBA anymore. That process changed. And then Schedule C line 7, this is the change of what number to use to calculate PPP, and that will be so significant for so many people, I know. And there's people out there and should really know that. So with this webinar, I want you to spread the words, let people know that they're eligible for PPP, and this is coming up. And the bad record, if you have felony charges, and look, they strike out the second one, and as long as you're not in jail and you're qualifying. And delinquent in federal debt, if you owe federal money and know that is not going to count. And ITIN, if you have ITIN that was stopping you from PPP recipients status, now that is going to be further defined, and the ITIN people will be able to apply. All right. So we quickly gone through the update. Then I just want to go through the second round PPP really quickly and to refresh your memory, right? You need to know which bank you go to apply. And I'm going to show you a website. I went to SBA website. Actually, when you go there, they tell you, you put in your postcode, they give you the eligible bank in that local area. So make sure that you really do have to go to the bank. And coming to community CPA, we can only prepare the document for you, but we cannot approve you. The bank is the one doing that, right? And determine whether you're eligible or not, and know the amount you are eligible for. The amount has so much to do with the calculation, right? So remember that Schedule C changes that come through, that may come through, and you want to wait to make sure that you get the right amount. And that's a big difference. We had a business actually just today. This morning, I was looking at the business, and he is a sole proprietorship, and his Schedule C is negative. He doesn't make any money. And if this rule doesn't change, PPP is 0. Okay, but if this rule changes, you know what his PPP amount will be? 69,000. That is how much of a difference. And we have one case this morning that is waiting for this to become final. Okay, and now, the other thing I want to make sure that qualification. Remember, the qualification is for you to have a sales drop. And you may be having sale, you may be having profit and a bigger profit than before. That's not related. We're talking about sales drop. So your sales dropped 25% compared to the same quarter of 2019. And then make sure that you calculate that right. And if you don't know how to calculate that, ask for a professional to help you, right? And of course, you must have fewer than 300 employees. And most of my clients have less than 300. And this is all the qualifications. I put down here, the biggest amount for PPP is 2 million. Well, that's enough for me. I mean, 2 million. But I do have a client who get 2 million. So how much can you get? So this is my calculation. If you're not in the restaurant hospitality business and you get 2.5, but if you are, and then you get 3.5, right? So those are the NAICS code 72. This is just my prior slides. I was trying to get people to know what they're doing. And an example, 3,000 per month payroll in 2019, and in restaurant business, and then it's 3.5 times 3,000. See, that's how much PPP you're getting. But if you are a sole proprietor, and when you have a loss, on the line 31, that's not the end of it, my dear. Go back to the line 7, see what you have divided by 12 times 3.5. Okay, so I do have clients and are worried about getting PPP. Oh, what am I going to spend that for? Oh, you can spend that for a lot of things. 60% to payroll, and if you don't know what payroll means it's a W-2 kind of payment to yourself, to your employee. Okay, did you hear me talking about yourself? Yes, you can pay yourself. Okay, and also the other expenses I listed here, and like a covered supply cost and property damage cost, operation expenditures. You can buy cost of goods sold. You can buy your inventory there. And so here I made a simple summary: 60% on salary, 40% on expended proposed cost, And then you want to go to our YouTube channel to really look our webinars that I did over there. So hopefully, you know, with what you see here and what you see on YouTube, and you'll get a really good understanding. We really want you to be proactive and don't stop asking questions or don't stop trying. And until you know that for sure, you cannot try anymore. Otherwise, you should keep on trying and get that PPP, okay? So I have a couple of questions coming up, and I will look at these questions. Just make sure I have time, yeah. So my first question here is, how can you guys help me? I need help, please. It starts with you. And it is always, we're here to help you. And it starts with you, so you really need to organize. I'll tell you that this example I gave you this morning, this client of ours didn't have time. And he did not file taxes for 2019, did not file taxes, of course, don't have financial statement for 2020. So I actually literally convinced him that you really need to do it, because there may be government assistance coming in and it would help you. But if you don't have financial statement, there's nobody can really help you. Even if we're creative, we cannot be doing things wrong. So we started doing his financial statement maybe 2 months ago, and not knowing what is going to happen today. We didn't know that, right? So we did financial statement, is finalized about 2 weeks ago. So I start looking at his financial statement thinking, boy, this guy would qualify for PPP if he has profit. And he's a sole proprietor. And with $300,000 sales after cost of goods sold, we're talking about 200-some thousand. Then after the rest of the expenses, he has a loss. And so really, he doesn't have, we can't calculate any PPP because he has a loss. Now, with this update, we are just talking about 20 minutes ago, and the game is a game changer. Am I right? And he has $200,000 on line 7. So if I divided that by 12, times that by 3.5, didn't I get a lot of money right there for PPP? And I know nothing, you know, I know that line 7 on Schedule C is not totally nailed in stone, but it is so promising. Look at all the discussions and go on to, go on to AICPA website, go on to the, the trade association website, IRS website, SBA website, just collecting that data, and you get a pretty good sense of what's going on at White House, right? And obviously, in that case, it is really up to you. And we want to apply for PPP for you. But if you don't even have financial statement and, and you can't even provide us with your bank statement, how are we going to help you, right? So it is you. And you need to be the one who start taking the first step, right? And the second question, to get PPP, do you still need to show 25 loss in any quarter and compared to 2019? Correct, yes, in any one of the quarter, not every quarter, right? So it is a loss of any given quarter in 2020 that is 25% of less of 2019. We have a lot of clients who qualify, okay, because their sales didn't really drop. We even have one client, the sales dropped like by 20.9%, just not 25. Okay, so make sure that you calculate that. And when you calculate that, be aware of what accounting system you are using. Maybe you are accrual accounting, maybe you are cash accounting. So your calculation of 1920 need to be consistent. Okay, and then here is the third question. If I reapply and get PPP, but only pay myself through draws and subcontracted workers through 1099, do I need to start paying myself and then through W-9 to have it to be forgiven later? I think your question is that if you got a PPP and whether you can use PPP dollar to pay 1099, that's what you're asking, I think. The PPP require you to take 60% of it to pay through W-2. Okay, W-2 is not 1099 because W-2 you will pay Social Security, Medicare, and all of that taxes, right? So the answer is you got to use 60% of your PPP to pay for W-2. Cannot be 1099. But if your 1099 is your supply, it is your necessity, like cost of goods sold, the second round PPP allows you to do that. So you need to make a definition of that. And when you apply for forgiveness, it is a good idea to rely on professional to get your forgiveness package prepared, right? All right, my fourth question, I think that's the last one. And what happened if I am applying with company that was founded in December 2019? PPP2 allow you to apply, and if you're founded in the last day of December in 2019, you use Q1 2020 as your benchmark. Did you experience 25% of loss compared to the first quarter of 2020, January, the first quarter of 2020? So if the answer is yes, then you qualify. So you can still do it. It's not, you don't have to be a 2 years old or 1 year old company. All right, that is all for today, folks. Please do me a favor and go onto YouTube, type into Community CPA, subscribe to our channel, and also on social media, always give us a thumb up and support us, because without you supporting us, we won't be here. So we appreciate your time, and it's so good to see all of you. And I saw a lot of you there. And those new ones, no, Community CPA, we are the CPA firm just like you. And we're not in a high-rise building. We are down to earth. We work crazy, and we care about you crazy. And we're just here for you. Okay? Bye-bye.